So your stirrups go on the front and the back of the paw, just up to the ankle. Just up to the ankle. And so depending on the size of the dog, you may need to get longer strips than this. But you want a little overhang. And this is where the popsicle comes into play. It just basically helps hold this there, and you're going to do the same thing along the back. And then the popsicle stick's just going to hold these tape ends, because once we've done the first 2 layers, we're going to peel it back, and it's basically going to help cup the splint from the bottom so it doesn't slide down. And so that's how you do the first part of the stirrups. So the popsicle strips is just to help you peel apart. I usually just put tabs on the end so that way I can just peel it, but the popsicle strip is helpful too. So the first step is your cast padding. Always start at the distal limb, so the toes. And basically this padding, you can wrap as tight as you want. It won't ever be too tight, because if you get too tight, it just tears off.
Oh, okay.
So there's like a limit to that. And so you're just doing an overlap. You want to make sure that the bandage material isn't wrinkling as you unroll it. Like if it starts going like that on you, flatten it out. The more wrinkles are in there, the higher chance that you can get pressure sores because it's just uneven. Mm-hmm. And you go up, and you're gonna come back down. Come back down and do as tight. When you do a roll around, just pull and unroll. Pull and unroll. So I'll always pull on just one side, just to get my tautness, and then roll around and pull, roll around, pull so it's taut, roll around, pull, roll around, pull. Now I'm going to let you go up the limb. Now what we're trying to achieve is we want to make the thickness uniform, the width. So you see how this is narrower? Yeah. We're going to put more padding. After we get another layer up here, we're going to put more padding probably on the far part so that it's just even. It's one just thick log. Like just a club, exactly. So go ahead and try that. And just roll, yeah. Yep, good. And kind of just work your way up the limb a little bit at a time.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean with the tear.
Yeah, and if it tears, don't worry. Even if it tears all the way off, you just start again. You don't have to unravel everything so that it's all one piece. It can be multiple pieces. Make sure you get high up in that crook. Now the knee is difficult, notorious for making bandages slip, and so you kind of, if it were a bigger leg, a bigger knee, I could show you how you would do kind of a V around the knee, but you're going to be fine with this one.
And then back down.
And then back down, yeah. Back down. Alright. And then for this to kind of stick, I usually just tear the ends off because it kind of it's just a little trick of the trade. Or you can tuck it beneath another layer that you've done. Go ahead and grab another cast padding because we want to, it's almost just got a little bit of a narrow. We need it to put, we don't need to go all the way up again, just start at the bottom. And yeah, and then just judge it so that we have a uniform width. Oh, and a little trick when you're putting a new one on, or I'll just start it over, is it's easier to have, I didn't show you, is to have it so that it's unraveling out instead of how you had it this way. It was a little tricky. When you do it so it's unraveling out, it'll unroll easier for you.
Okay.
So yeah, that's just a little trick of the trade. Either way will work, but this is much more easier.
And that way you can get kind of more.
It just unrolls. Yeah, more pull and it unrolls. So yeah, stick it. We don't need to go back up the leg again. Just stick to the knee. Yeah, and then put more on towards the toes so that we have uniform thickness. Strain out any wrinkles that you can if they're really bad. Yep, good, good. Yeah, I don't see why not. Okay, let's see. How is our focus? Just focus a little bit more down here. Put like one or two more wraps around the toes part. And then tear it off.
That good?
Yeah. Great. So yeah, see how it's pretty much this is gonna do just fine. But yeah, that is the goal. If it's narrow at the bottom, and more reasons for it that it can slip. So if it's uniform, it's unlikely to slip. If you're doing a high bandage, sometimes, especially in a dog that's hard to keep still, or it's hard to keep them activity restricted, sometimes we have to bring that bandage over the top so that it kind of has stirrups from the top too, holding it. But we're not going to do that today. All right, now for the gauze wrap. Now this is the part where you can wrap too tight. Okay. You can wrap too tight. So how I'll show you is, again, rolled out, not like that, or it'll be tricky, especially when you're trying to go under the leg. And so this one, as I said with the cast padding, I only pull from one side. So, and what I mean is that I'm just unrolling, and then I'll actually pull. And then once I've done that one pull, I roll around till I get back to that same spot. So I always just do it on the back side is where I do my pull. You can always do it on the front side. Just pick one side, and that's the only side you pull on. And then once you've pulled it, don't continue to pull, just roll it down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then pull, roll it around. Pull, roll it around. Now the important part with the any layer after the padding, you don't want to go beyond it, because this can start cutting into the skin. It can be really irritated, but if you have your pad there, you'll be fine. So I stop wherever, so I leave like half an inch or less of the padding, so that I know I'm not overlapping and potentially causing sores. And so I'll let you finish coming back down.
Do you need to do anything to stitches? Care instructions?
Did they say yes to the biopsy?
Ask Kayla.
Kayla, they said yes? They said they don't want to do the biopsy. Okay, let me just see up there. I can talk to her if they want me to talk to her. Okay. Okay. Yeah, when it gets to these, like, this is where you can go the wrap over. You can just do something like that. Alright, and then this again. This one more of a tuck under the previous layer. Alright. Now is where your stirrups come in. So you're coming, so you peel it off of, and this is what's gonna, not only does it help you from slipping with the bandage, it also exposes their toes for owners to monitor for swelling. Okay. And that means when it swells, that means that it's too tight. And so the owners can judge that. And a cool little trick I'll show you is, so usually it's two toes that are exposed most of the time. And so what I do is I look at those two toenails, and I get like a little marker. Here, there's a little pen that'll work. And I put the popsicle stick, and I put the outside of where the toenails are. And so you have this guide for them where they can check each day and be like, okay, the toenails are still within that. Now if the toes swell, the toenails separate, and then that's how they can easily tell if it's getting swollen. So that's a little cool little trick. But yeah, so that's your stirrups. That's going to hold as well as exposed toes to check for swelling. Now we have our protective layer. This one, these elasticons are kind of a pain in the butt. I usually want to unroll a little bit for it. Actually, what I always do is hold one in. Actually unroll a lot at first, because if you're fighting to unroll it while you're putting it on the leg, you may get it too tight. But if you do a pre-unravel, and then I'm just gonna lightly roll it back, but it's already gonna be loosened for me. And then you won't be fighting trying to unravel it and inadvertently tightening it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
And so then, this one again, you don't need a whole lot of layers. You just need one around all aspects of it. I'll let you go up. And you just need to go up to the top, and that's it. And then remember, don't go past this gap.
Do you need scissors?
Oh, yes, thank you. Now let's check all 360 degrees around the limb to make sure. And we're lucky with this guy because he's got short fur. If he had long fur, sometimes you get the inner fur stuck in the tape, so you're watching for it. But yeah, no, that's good. Just put this over, and then just peel it over. And that's your modified Robert Jones. Now, some people will put vet wrap over this too, or put a little grippy pad at the bottom. The grippy pad's helpful because they will slip less, but then you can't see the toes well. So gauge, you know, the doctor will decide if they want their toes exposed or not. But that's it. That is your modified Robert Jones. Now, with a regular Robert Jones, it's going to be about that much bigger. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a real thick guy.
You can call the owner later.
Okay. And that's it.
Awesome.
That's it.
Thank you.
I love bandaging. It is an art form.